I've got the snob license plate. Good morning. My name is Dwayne Hackert, Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. Pleased to be here in beautiful Greenwich, Connecticut today for the latest Elegance Concours show. I brought my Rolls Royce with me today. It's a 1996. It's called a Springfield edition. Back in 1996, Rolls Royce wanted to basically honor 75 years since Rolls Royce USA actually made vehicles starting in 1921 in nearby Springfield, Massachusetts. So what happened is they did a 75th anniversary edition. They made the car very similar to vehicles that would have been made back in the day. When I say similar, I'm talking colors and some of the features. As far as the colors of the car are concerned, it was a rare issue. They were going to do 21 vehicles, but they ended up doing 27 in the long run. As I mentioned, they named them after models that were offered back during that time frame. They had a black and green car back in the day called the Pickwick, so this is the Pickwick edition. There was a maroon and black, and that was called the Mayfair back in the day. So these Springfield edition cars got those names based upon their colors. 27 were actually made, and this is one of 4 in this exact color combination with the same interior. So very honored to have it. It's got a great story behind it. The gentleman, the first owner, his name is Richard Barrett, and he is from South Florida as well as Eastern Connecticut here. Well, his family grew up in Springfield, Massachusetts. And they took a business that started out as a bait and tackle shop by his grandfather, grew that into a huge family business, which was boating and yachting. So he thought it was appropriate when he found out this was a Springfield edition, he thought it was appropriate to honor his grandfather by the purchase. Hoping for the family to enjoy it. They never did too much, but they hung on to it for years, and I am fortunately the beneficiary of that today. I met Mr. Barrett after I had wrecked my car 2 weeks previous. I had another Silver Spur from 1989 that was a really unique car, and I just come from a Rolls Royce Owners Club annual meet in Gettysburg, and long story short, I think some type of mishap with the car, but my front end of the car met a brick wall, and that was pretty much the end of her. So she is now an organ donor, as I call it, in the auto world, where her parts are hopefully helping to keep other Silver Spurs and other Rolls Royce on the road as well. But this car then came into my life, and Mr. Barrett loved my story, I liked his, and he said, "I think you're the perfect caretaker for this vehicle." So we shook hands, didn't ask for a cent. I offered, he's like, "Nope, whenever you get your insurance money, just let me know." And so he was very good to work with, and we shipped the car down to New Jersey, had some work done, and it's now residing with me in Pennsylvania. But I'm thrilled to bring it back here today to Greenwich for you to see. When you look inside, you're going to see some different features that you won't see in another Rolls Royce. The biggest one you'll notice is it has a Chesterfield style leather seating. And the Chesterfield design was popular on sofas and also in cars back in 1921. So that's the big feature, I think, that aesthetically they put in this car that is really nice, and it's super comfortable too. You'll see a lot of different woods. It actually has 3 different types of woods. There is cherry, boxwood, and a wood from out west, from western United States. So 3 different types of woods throughout. As far as the big feature on the outside of the car, you'll see a smaller back window, privacy window they called it. We also had some different trim work throughout the vehicle, and but the biggest one I think is the seating area. I've got the snob license plate. And the first time I ever saw that on a car, well, the first Rolls Royce I ever saw was photographs. My cousin had been out to Chicago, and she was in front of walking by the Drake Hotel, which is one of these big, beautiful, grand hotels. And in front of it was a 1950s style Rolls Royce with a big flowing back fender. She just thought it was a gorgeous vehicle. So she took a few photos of it, but then she saw the license plate, and it said the word snob. So I remember us laughing about that, and I said to her that day, I said, if I ever get a car like that, I'm gonna get that license plate for it. And sure enough, I was lucky enough, and it was available through Department of Transportation.
So would you say Rolls Royce has always been your dream car?
Yes. Oh yeah, definitely. I grew up in central Pennsylvania where there weren't cars like this around, and I think because it was so exclusive and just it had an aura about it that it was just made for a king. The car next to me today here is made for the King of Bahrain, I believe, at one point. So, you know, to have a car that, you know, just sort of signifies that level of life, it was just something to look forward to. I just think it's a beautiful car.
What's it like to drive?
Very smooth. I was surprised. This one has some decent power. My previous car was an '89, which was a previous version of this, but it didn't have half the handling and half the acceleration that this one does just 7 years later. So
Excellent.
I was surprised. And yeah, so far so good, and excited to have it here today.